The story of the fisherman and the genie. There was a fisherman who was advanced in age. He had a wife and 3 children, and he was poor. It was his habit to cast his net only 4 times a day. One day, he went out at noon to the seashore, set down his basket, and cast his net, waiting until it settled in the water. He then gathered the strings of the net and found it heavy, so he pulled at it but couldn't lift it. He went to the shore, drove a stake into the ground, and tied the net to it. He then undressed and dived into the water around the net, struggling until he managed to bring it up. He rejoiced, put on his clothes, and went to the net. He found a dead donkey in it. When he saw this, he was saddened and said, "There is no power nor strength except in God, the highest, the great. This is indeed a strange fortune." The fisherman, seeing the dead donkey, freed it from the net, then went back to the sea, saying, "In the name of God." He cast the net again, waited until it settled, and then pulled it. It was heavier and more solidly rooted than the first time. He thought it was full of fish. He tied the net, undressed, and dived into the water, struggling until he freed it and brought it to the shore. He found a large pot filled with sand and mud. When he saw this, he was distressed. He threw the pot aside, squeezed out and cleaned his net, and sought God's forgiveness. He returned to the sea a 3rd time, cast the net, waited until it settled, and pulled it up to find it filled with bottles. He then raised his head to the sky and said, "O Lord, you know I only cast my net 4 times, and I have already cast it 3 times. Then he invoked the name of God and cast the net into the sea, waiting until it settled and pulled it up. He couldn't pull it up, it was caught on the ground. He said, "There is no power nor strength except in God." He undressed, dived, and struggled with it until he brought it to the shore. He opened it and found a yellow copper jar sealed with lead, imprinted with the seal of our Lord Solomon. When the fisherman saw it, he rejoiced and said, "I will sell this in the copper market, it is worth 10 gold dinars." Then he shook it and found it heavy. He said, "I must open it, see what's inside, and store it in the basket, then sell it in the copper market." He took out a knife and worked on the lead until he broke the seal from the jar, placed it on the ground, and shook it to empty its contents. Nothing came out, but smoke emerged from the jar, rising to the sky and spreading across the ground. He was utterly astonished. The smoke then gathered and transformed into a genie, disheveled and dusty. When the fisherman saw the genie, he trembled with fear, his teeth chattered, and he dried up inside. Seeing the genie, the fisherman said, "There is no God but God, Solomon is the prophet of God." The genie then said, "O prophet of God, do not kill me, for I will never disobey your command or oppose your word again." The fisherman replied, "O demon, you say Solomon is the prophet of God, but Solomon died over 1800 years ago, and we are in the last days. What is your story, your tale, and the reason for your confinement in this jar?" Hearing the fisherman's words, the genie said, "There is no God but God, rejoice, fisherman." The fisherman asked, "Why should I rejoice?" The genie replied, "For your immediate death by the most horrific of deaths." The fisherman said, "You deserve to have the veil removed from you for this news, you distant one. Why do you kill me, and for what reason, when I have freed you from the jar, brought you up from the depths of the sea, and released you onto the shore?" The genie said, "Choose the manner of your death and the type of execution you prefer." The fisherman asked, "What is my crime to deserve such a reward from you?" The genie said, "Listen to my story, fisherman." The fisherman said, "Speak quickly, for my soul is about to leave my body." The genie said, "Know that I am one of the rebellious jinn, and I disobeyed Solomon, son of David. He sent his minister, Asif ibn Barkia, who brought me by force and presented me before Solomon, who sought refuge from me and offered me the choice to accept faith and submit to his authority. I refused, so he requested this jar and imprisoned me in it, sealed it with lead, imprinted with the great name, and ordered the jinn to carry and throw me into the sea. I stayed there for 100 years, saying in my heart, anyone who frees me, I will make him rich forever. 100 years passed, and no one freed me. Another 100 years passed, and I said, anyone who frees me, I will open the treasures of the earth for him. Still, no one freed me. Another 400 years passed, and I said, anyone who frees me, I will grant him 3 wishes. But no one freed me. I grew very angry and said in myself, anyone who frees me now, I will kill him and let him choose how he wants to die. And here you have freed me, and I grant you to choose how you wish to die. When the fisherman heard the genie's words, he said, strange, I came to free you only these days. Then the fisherman said to the genie, forgive my life, and God will forgive you. Do not kill me, and God will send someone to destroy you. The genie said, I must kill you, choose the manner of your death. When the fisherman realized this, he appealed to the genie and said, spare me in gratitude for freeing you. The genie replied, I am only killing you because you freed me. The fisherman said, O master of the genies, is this how you repay my kindness with evil? When the genie heard his words, he said, don't hope, you must die. The fisherman said, this is a genie, and I am a human being. God has given me complete intellect. I will devise a plan to outsmart him with my wits and intelligence, while he plans with his deceit and cunning. Then he said to the genie, are you determined to kill me? The genie said, yes. The fisherman said, by the great name engraved on Solomon's seal, I ask you a question, and you must answer truthfully. The genie said, yes. When the genie heard the mention of the great name, he trembled and shook, saying, ask and be brief. The fisherman said, how could you fit inside this jar when it cannot even contain your hand, let alone your whole body? The genie replied, do you not believe I was in it? The fisherman said, I will never believe it until I see it with my own eyes. When the fisherman said he did not believe it unless he saw it with his own eyes, the genie transformed into smoke, rising into the air, and then gradually entered the jar until all the smoke was inside. Immediately, the fisherman took the lead-sealed stopper, closed the jar, and called to the genie, saying, choose the manner of your death, for I will throw you into the sea. I will build a house here, and anyone who comes here to fish, I will prevent them and tell them there is a genie who will show them the types of death and let them choose. When the genie heard the fisherman's words, he tried to escape but could not. He saw himself imprisoned with Solomon's seal and realized that the fisherman had trapped him in a prison for the lowest, dirtiest, and smallest of genies. The fisherman took the jar to the sea, and the genie called out, return, return. The fisherman said, there is no returning. The genie then softened his tone and pleaded, what do you want to do with me, fisherman? The fisherman replied, I will throw you into the sea. If you stayed there for 1800 years, I will make you stay until the day of judgment. Did I not tell you to spare me, and God will spare you, and not to kill me, and God will protect you? But you rejected my plea and only wanted to betray me. Now God has delivered you into my hands, and I have betrayed you. The genie said, let me out so I can reward you. The fisherman said, you lie, accursed one.